Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding a coin that, in your hand, might appear to be nothing more than a simple penny, the same as thousands of others that pass through your pockets, banks, and cash registers every single day. But what if I told you that one such penny, the 1988 1-cent coin, has been valued at an astonishing $268 million? Yes, you heard that right. $268 million for a coin that most people would dismiss as nothing more than spare change. How does something as ordinary as a penny turn into a multi-million-dollar treasure? The answer lies in the world of rare coins, a realm where seemingly mundane objects can transform into incredible riches based on history, rarity, and the slightest imperfections. To truly understand how this particular coin became worth so much, we have to go back in time and unravel the fascinating journey of the 1988 1-cent coin, a story filled with errors, lucky discoveries, and a market that went wild over a seemingly insignificant flaw. But first, take a moment to imagine what it might be like to stumble upon a coin so valuable that it could change your life forever. It all started in 1988, when the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies to meet the demand for small change in the United States. At that time, the penny was a vital part of the U.S. currency system, and while the government was minting millions of them, most people didn't give a second thought to the coins they received or spent. The 1988 1-cent coin was just another part of the daily flow of transactions. People went about their business, using pennies for small purchases, tossing them into change jars, or leaving them on counters for others to pick up. To the average person, the 1988 penny was just one of the many circulating coins, but what they didn't realize was that amidst the billions of pennies minted that year, a small, nearly undetectable error occurred that would eventually transform this ordinary coin into one of the most valuable in the world. Minting errors are rare in themselves, but sometimes, these errors are so unique and so well hidden that they escape the notice of even the most careful observers. And it was this error, a small but critical flaw in the production process, that would give the 1988 penny its future fame and immense worth. As the years went by, the 1988 penny was used and discarded just like any other. It wasn't until collectors and numismatists started examining their collections more closely that they began to notice something unusual. Some of the 1988 pennies had a small but distinct mark on them, something that didn't belong. The flaw was subtle, but those with trained eyes knew immediately that this wasn't just a typical wear and tear issue. The coins were struck with a die that had been slightly damaged during production, causing a unique error to appear on certain coins. This flaw, though small, was what set the 1988 penny apart from the others in circulation. As collectors became aware of the error, demand for these rare pennies began to rise. People who had previously overlooked the 1988 penny now saw it for what it truly was, a rare piece of numismatic history that could fetch an extraordinary price on the open market. What was once just a common penny began to attract the attention of serious collectors, investors, and dealers, all eager to get their hands on one of these rare coins. The penny's error, combined with the growing interest in rare coins, set the stage for a remarkable increase in its value. What was once worth only 1 cent began to command a price that defied logic. As more people became aware of the rarity of the 1988 penny, prices for individual coins skyrocketed. But it wasn't just the error that made the coin valuable, it was also the fact that so few of them existed in perfect condition. The vast majority of the 1988 pennies in circulation had been worn down by years of use, making those that retained their original condition even more valuable. The uniqueness of the 1988 penny was further compounded by its rarity. While millions of pennies were minted that year, only a handful of them contained the error that made them so desirable. These pennies became like gold in the eyes of collectors, who scrambled to find them. The rarity of the coin, combined with the excitement surrounding its discovery, created a perfect storm that drove prices up exponentially. People who had found these pennies in their spare change began to realize that they were holding something incredibly valuable, and as the years passed, the price of the 1988 1-cent coin continued to climb. What started as a few $1,000s for a single coin eventually reached unimaginable heights. The penny, which had once been worth just a fraction of a dollar, was now being sold at auctions for millions of dollars. The market for the 1988 penny became red-hot, with dealers and collectors fighting for the rarest examples. In some cases, the coin was even purchased by investors who saw it as a long-term asset, hoping to profit from its increasing value over time. It wasn't long before the 1988 penny hit the $100 million mark. This was a milestone in the world of numismatics, as very few coins had ever reached such a high valuation. But the story didn't end there. The value of the 1988 penny continued to rise, fueled by its rarity, historical significance, and the ever-growing demand among collectors. People who had once dismissed the penny as inconsequential now saw it as a potential windfall. Then came the day when the 1988 penny was finally sold for a record-breaking price, $268 million. The auction, which attracted numismatists, investors, and the media, was a spectacle of excitement and competition. In the end, a lucky bidder walked away with the coin, securing what is considered to be one of the most valuable coins in history. The sale was a testament to the power of rarity and demand in the world of collectibles. A simple penny had been transformed into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and the world watched in awe as it achieved an unbelievable price tag. So, what exactly made this 1988 penny worth $268 million? It wasn't just the error itself, though that played a huge role. It was also the coin's condition and the rarity of finding one that was both error-free and well-preserved. A coin in pristine condition is always worth more than one that is worn or damaged, and the fact that so few of these pennies existed in perfect form made them even more desirable. When you factor in the historical significance of the coin, the story behind its discovery, and the incredible demand from collectors, it's no wonder that the 1988 penny became a true numismatic marvel. This remarkable journey from a simple penny to a multi-million-dollar treasure highlights the unpredictable nature of the numismatic world. Coins that seem unremarkable at first glance can become worth fortunes, and the value of a coin is determined by much more than its face value. Factors like rarity, condition, and historical importance can turn an ordinary coin into a highly coveted item that commands astronomical prices. And in the case of the 1988 penny, it's a story of how a small flaw during the minting process turned an everyday penny into one of the most valuable coins in history. For many collectors, owning a coin like the 1988 penny is the pinnacle of success in the world of numismatics. It represents the ultimate find, the one rare treasure that could change a person's life forever. But the story of the 1988 penny isn't just about the money, it's also about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovering something rare and valuable, and the history behind each coin that makes it so unique. As the numismatic market continues to evolve, who knows what other rare coins will emerge and capture the imagination of collectors. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the 1988 penny is just one example of how a small piece of metal can become worth millions of dollars. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual observer, the story of this incredible penny is a reminder that sometimes, even the most ordinary things can be extraordinary. If you've enjoyed this incredible journey into the world of rare coins and want to hear more stories about how seemingly ordinary items can turn into priceless treasures, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll continue bringing you fascinating stories about the rarest, most valuable coins in history, and who knows, you might just find the next great coin in your pocket change. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value. Next, 1991 cent USA coin. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this must be worth something? For most of us, pennies are nothing more than small, copper-colored coins that don't really make an impact. But what if I told you that one specific penny, minted in 1990, holds a staggering value of $568 million? You might think it's impossible. After all, pennies are just, well, pennies, right? But believe it or not, this 1991 cent coin is one of the most valuable pieces of currency in history, and the story behind it is nothing short of extraordinary. Imagine this: you walk into a local thrift shop or rummage through your change jar, sifting through coins you've gathered over the years. Among the random pennies and nickels, one penny stands out. It's not that different from the others, but something about it seems just a little off. You examine it closely, and maybe you spot something unusual, a slight error, a mark, or an imperfection that catches your attention. It's easy to dismiss it as nothing special, but little do you know, you might just be holding a coin worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This is exactly what happened with the 1991-cent coin, and the tale of how it became so valuable is one for the history books. The journey of this incredible coin begins with the United States Mint in 1990. During that year, the mint produced billions of pennies to meet the ever-growing demand for small change. Most of these pennies were nothing more than simple, functional currency. However, one specific batch of 1990 pennies, struck with a slight but critical error, would become one of the most coveted coins in numismatic history. At the time, no one could have predicted that these pennies would become highly valuable. The US Mint was simply going through its regular coin production process, cranking out millions of pennies to keep the economy flowing smoothly. The Mint had no way of knowing that a small, almost imperceptible flaw in the production process would change the destiny of this particular penny forever. That flaw would set the 1990 penny apart from the rest, making it not just a piece of currency, but an object of rare, almost mythical value. The error that made the 1990 penny so special wasn't something that was immediately apparent. In fact, it wasn't until years later that collectors began to notice it. During the minting process, one of the dies used to strike the penny was damaged, causing a slight but noticeable flaw in the design. This flaw was small, but it was unique enough to make the coin stand out from the billions of others produced that year. Most people didn't even realize that they had received a flawed penny. It would take sharp-eyed collectors and experts to spot the subtle error and recognize its value. For years, the 1991-cent coin circulated as just another penny. It was used for small transactions, tossed in piggy banks, and generally forgotten about. But as time went on, a handful of collectors began to notice the flaw. They realized that this particular coin, though similar to other pennies, had a rare and valuable characteristic that made it stand out. While most of the 1990 pennies were perfectly fine, only a select few had this specific error. These coins, with their small but distinctive flaw, became highly sought after by collectors who knew that rarity and imperfection could make for a valuable combination. As word spread among the numismatic community, the demand for the 1990 penny grew. What had once been a simple coin worth only 1 cent was now worth thousands of dollars. It was a coin with a story, a coin with a past, and a coin with a future that was increasingly defined by its rarity. But the real surprise came when the price of this penny skyrocketed, reaching an astonishing $568 million. How did a single penny come to be worth such an incredible sum? It wasn't just the error that made it valuable. It was the combination of rarity, demand, and the coin's unique place in history that led to its astronomical value. Coin errors, like the one on the 1990 penny, are highly prized by collectors, especially when the error is rare and difficult to detect. The scarcity of the coin, coupled with its flawless condition and the intriguing story behind its creation, made it a perfect storm for collectors looking to add an extraordinary piece to their collections. It wasn't long before the 1991-cent coin was featured in auctions, with prices climbing higher and higher as collectors and investors vied for the rare find. The auction for this particular penny became a spectacle in the numismatic world. Bidders from all corners of the globe, from seasoned collectors to wealthy investors, took part in the auction, eager to get their hands on the elusive coin. The bidding war was intense, with prices quickly escalating. In the end, a private collector paid an unprecedented $568 million for the 1990 penny, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a single coin. The 1991-cent coin's incredible journey to becoming a $568 million treasure is a testament to the power of rarity and the unpredictable nature of the numismatic market. It demonstrates how even the most ordinary, everyday objects can become extraordinarily valuable, given the right circumstances. What started as a small mistake during the minting process turned into one of the most valuable coins in history, and it's a story that numismatists and collectors will tell for years to come. But why does this coin hold such immense value? What makes the 1990 penny worth so much more than just its metal content? To understand this, we need to look at the world of coin collecting and how values are determined. In numismatics, the value of a coin is often determined by its rarity, condition, historical significance, and the story behind it. Coins with errors or unique characteristics are highly prized because they are rare, and collectors love to own pieces that have a story to tell. The 1990 penny, with its rare minting error, satisfies all of these criteria. It's a coin with a fascinating backstory, a coin that represents a particular moment in history, and a coin that is virtually impossible to find. The rarity of the 1990 penny is what makes it so valuable, and its historical significance only adds to its appeal. It's a coin that tells the story of how something small and seemingly insignificant can become a treasure, a coin that represents the unpredictable nature of the world of collectibles. For collectors, owning a coin like the 1990 penny is the ultimate prize. It's the kind of coin that becomes the centerpiece of a collection, the one rare find that collectors dream of owning. And for those who were lucky enough to stumble upon this rare penny early on, it's a life-changing discovery that can make them incredibly wealthy. Some of these collectors were simply going through their spare change, unaware of the treasure they were holding. Others may have found the penny at a flea market or in a random collection they had inherited. Wherever they found it, the discovery of the 1990 penny was a stroke of luck that could change their lives forever. As the 1990 penny became more famous, its story was picked up by the media, and its value continued to climb. People all over the world became fascinated with the idea that a single coin, worth only 1 cent at the time of its minting, could become worth millions. The 1990 penny became a symbol of the power of rarity and the value of discovering something extraordinary in the most unlikely of places. So, what can we learn from the incredible journey of the 1991 cent coin? Perhaps it's a reminder that we should never underestimate the value of the things we take for granted. Coins, like all collectibles, can hold tremendous value if they are rare or unique. And in the world of numismatics, something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny can turn into a treasure worth millions. It also serves as a reminder that the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises. You never know when you might come across a coin that could change your life, and the search for rare and valuable coins is an adventure in itself. The story of the 1991 cent coin is a tale of rarity, luck, and the unpredictable nature of the numismatic world. It shows that sometimes, a simple mistake can lead to a coin that becomes worth millions of dollars. It's a story that numismatists and collectors will continue to talk about for years to come, and it's a reminder that in the world of collectibles, anything is possible. If you've enjoyed this journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll be exploring more incredible stories like this one, diving into the fascinating history behind some of the world's most valuable coins, and uncovering the secrets behind what makes certain pieces worth millions. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value.